Hello and welcome back to Hacho. Now, we have already addressed 2 points in the last 2 episodes. What is Hacho and why chicken farming in a nutshell? We have identified there's a very, very clear demand and a very clear opportunity to go into chicken farming, whether it's for the eggs or the meat, whichever it is. There is a very clear opportunity. Now, in this particular case, our case study, we are looking at egg production. So, the first thing that I want us to understand, and the focus of this episode, is the project start. Because whenever you're starting any project, with the little project management training I have, you need to identify the problem. Identify the problem and define it and state it clearly. And they say, if you can clearly define your problem, you're halfway through solving it. You're halfway to success. So now the first problem that we have is we want to go into chicken farming. What have we decided to do? Are we going for commercial broilers? Are we going for exotic layers? Or are we going for improved kienyeji? Improved kienyeji, it's what you could consider a hybrid bird, right? Between the traditional bird and a hybrid bird, right? So the first thing that you want to understand, again, going back to the problem definition, wherever you want to set up a chicken farm, there is a clear problem that you can address in that region, regardless of the location within the country or any other country for that matter. There are areas that have very many farms who are set up for egg production. So that means that particular area, your egg sales per tray, that is 30 eggs, will be on the lower side because there's a very huge supply. But there's also an area where many of the farmers have gone for broilers purely for meat. So here again, if you set up there, that means your supply price will be very low. Yes, you'll be working with tight margins, but a sale is almost always guaranteed. Now that you've identified that, let's take a case of now we are going into egg production, right? So in egg production, you are now narrowing down to two options, which I also had to do and consider. The first being, am I going for an improved bird, an improved kienyeji bird, which is more or less a low maintenance and dual purpose bird? I'll explain what I mean by low maintenance and dual purpose. Second, are you going for an exotic layer? Right? So let's go back to the improved bird, the improved kienyeji. Two things. Remember that this bird is more or less bred from both a commercial hybrid fast growing bird and an exotic bird. So by it being in the middle, it gives you best of both worlds. In that, if you're looking for improved kienyeji birds for laying, they will be, number one, good layers once they hit full maturity, but at the same time, they will have the resilience of the exotic bird, right? The exotic or traditional bird, the kienyeji bird, is very resilient to diseases. It can feed on literally anything. I have seen some farms where the farmers will just throw cabbages, maize, whatever you want to throw at it. This bird is very, very low maintenance. Now, the beauty about it, and the reason we said it is a dual purpose bird, means that this bird, number one, still has very high quality meat, right? So the meat still feels like the kienyeji bird. But at the same time, remember, it is a faster growing bird from the egg being laid to the point that this bird now is a chick after brooding, and to the point of maturity, which can take anywhere between 10 to 14 weeks, they are ready for meat. So now you're looking at a kienyeji bird that in practically, give or take, 4 months is ready for the market. And you can sell it as a kienyeji bird because it has that flavor, it has that taste when cooked. It does not taste like a broiler. And number two, because again it's an improved bird, it means that it weighs more. So if you're selling to a customer who is buying by the kilo, it means you get more value for your money, or rather more value for your bird. Okay. Now, third point, when you're looking at improved kienyeji, you have to consider a few things. There are many companies out here which are giving you these improved breeds of birds. Okay. And I'll just quickly break it down. We have KALRO. KALRO is directly from the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization. They again mature between 4 to 5 months, and their egg production on an annual basis is anywhere from say 200, 220 to 280 or 300 eggs per year. So this already makes it a highly sought after bird because of two things. Again, it is an improved bird, but it is giving you quite a high output of eggs, because at 220 or even at 250, you're looking at almost 60 to 70% production year round. So if it is on a weekly basis, at least every 5 days, that bird will give you an egg per day. Okay. Then you have what they call, I don't know, it's Kuroiler or KU Roiler. But this again is rather bad. That is highly sought after. Within 3 to 4 months, it is ready, right? And at that point, when it hits around 4 months, this bird can weigh anywhere between 3 to 4 kgs, depending on how it has been fed and what it has been fed. Okay. Second, the Kuroiler does not have as high egg production as the KALRO. This one will have a slightly lower egg production, around 150 to 200 large eggs. Okay, so now here you need to decide, because there are various factors that you have to consider if you want this bird to be dual purpose, in that there are situations where you will want to sell the bird purely for money, to get your money back. Okay, then you're looking at 4 months. This bird is already almost 4 kgs. Your customer comes in, they say per kg, I'm buying say at 800. All right, maybe 600, maybe 700, again depending on how that bird has been brought up. Okay, so now you're looking per average sale of these improved birds almost 2,000 Kenya shillings. Again, this is depending on where you're supplying and to who you're supplying. Then we have what they call the rainbow rooster. It's more or less a colorful bird. It's fast growing. Again, egg production, you're looking at around 160 to 200 per year. And then finally we have KenBro. KenBro is very widely distributed by Kenchick. I think you may have heard of them. It's also a dual purpose bird, and again within 10 to 14 weeks it offers a very steady egg production. So this is its biggest edge. Compared to the rest, KALRO and KenBro will give you the steadiest egg production. Okay, so now come to the exotic layers. Remember, when we talked about the improved bird, that was a dual purpose bird. You can either rear it for around 4 months. It gets to maybe 3 to a maximum of 5 kgs, depending again on the health, the environment, and many other factors, and you can sell it off. Or you can give it up to around 6 months, at which point now it gets into steady egg production. Now we come into the layers. Layers are purpose bred to be an egg producer. Okay, so you'll almost always find this type of birds in cages, well ventilated rooms. The bird is in a cage, maybe 1 foot by 1 foot, essentially a square foot box, where there's a tray of feed, there's a dripping water, and there's also a tray beneath the bird to collect the egg. So these purpose bred birds, which we are calling the exotic layers, will give you up to 350 on the higher side eggs per year. So that theoretically means at maximum capacity you are getting an egg per day from that chicken. But remember, again, these birds are purely dedicated for commercial egg production, which then also makes them a bit prone to diseases, and hygiene concerns must always be addressed very, very carefully. We have seen cases where a farmer will lose the entire coop. They will lose everything. So how you feed them, how you vaccinate them, how you clean the coop is very, very important with exotic layers. Some of the popular breeds in the market will be, say, I think Isa Brown and the Leghorn. But more or less, be very careful if that is the direction you want to take. Now, finally, we have the commercial broilers, purpose bred for meat and fast turnaround. You are literally looking, even within a month, the bird is ready to be sold to the market. So again, just to sum up today's podcast, you need to consider very carefully what problem you want to solve in your particular region. once that problem is addressed and once that problem is solved, you have essentially cracked what you need to do. In the next episodes, we'll be looking at finer details. We'll also be considering, okay, how did I get my first batch? This one I'll explain to you now on my first person experience. What lessons I learned with the first batch of birds that I bought. How did I modify the coop? And so on. And most importantly, again, with any kind of farming, I always say the game is with the economies of scale. See you guys. Catch you on the next episode.